droplets fall, a soft encore, a rhythm in the quiet morn. We are drops in the endless flight. But if you seek a storm that roars beneath the light, baby, I'm the peace before the fight. And you can dance in the storm till you wash away your trace. The droplets fall, a soft encore, a rhythm in the quiet morn. We are drops in the endless flight. But if you seek a storm that roars beneath the light, baby, I'm the peace before the fight. And you can dance in the storm till you wash away your trace. Droplet fall, a soft encore, rhythm in the quiet morn. We are drops in the endless flight. But if you seek a storm that roars beneath the light, baby, I'm the peace before the fight. And you can dance in the storm till you wash away the trace. The drop is soft encore, rhythm in the quiet morn. We are drops in the endless flight. But if you see the storm that roars beneath the light, baby, I'm the peace before the fight. And you can dance in the storm till you wash away a trace.
Adventure is never done. Every corner we turn, in tow. It's time to start the magic on the Globus Show. It's time to learn and grow on the Globus Show. See the sights, so much to know. Across the lands, hand in hand, we join the flow. Discover wonders in the Globus Show, where every day's a brand new episode. On the Globus Show, it's time to learn and grow on the Globus Show. Come along, join the fun in a world where adventure is never done. Every corner we turn, a new friend in tow. It's time to start the magic on the Globus Show. It's time to learn and grow on the Globus Show. See the sights, so much to know. Across the lands, hand in hand, we join the flow. Discover wonders in the Globus Show, where every day's a brand new episode.
On the Globus Show, on the Globus Show,
It's time to learn and grow on the Globus Show.
on the Globus Show, on the Globus Show.
It's time to learn and grow on the Globus Show. On the Globus Show. On the Globus Show. On the Globus Show. On the Globus
Good morning. Good morning, Red Hobbit. Good morning, bots. Good morning, lurkers. Good morning, YouTube. Twitch.tv, Globus _the _elder. It is May 17th, 2024. And this is the news. And this is the meme. And this is the news. Hugging Face is sharing $10 million worth of compute to help beat the big AI companies. Zero GPU gives everyone the chance to create AI apps without the burden of GPU costs. Warning, Antiporia. Warning, Old Lobster. You know that thing where people get unfollowed randomly? It happened to me with TPS, I just found out. Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing that happens. I don't know why. I don't know if it's intentional. I got nothing, you know. Sometimes you get to a point where you're like, oh, did that person stop streaming? And then you go chase them down, and it's like, oh no, I've just not been following you for some reason. Thanks, Dan. Hugging Face, one of the biggest names in machine learning, is committing $10 million in free shared GPUs to help developers create new AI technologies. The goal is to help small developers, academics, and startups counter the centralization of AI advancements. We are lucky to be in a position where we can invest in the community. Hugging Face CEO Clem DeLang told The Verge. DeLang said the investment is possible because Hugging Face is profitable or close to profitable and recently raised $235 million in funding, valuing the company at $4.5 billion. DeLang is concerned about AI startups' ability to compete with the tech giants. Most significant advancements in artificial intelligence, like GPT-4, the algorithms behind Google search, and Tesla's full self driving system, remain hidden within the confines of major tech companies. Not only are these corporations financially incentivized to keep their models proprietary, but with billions of dollars at their disposal for computational resources, they can compound those gains and race ahead of competitors, making it impossible for startups to keep up. Hugging Face aims to make state of the art AI technologies accessible to everyone, not just the tech giants. I spoke with DeLang during Google I/O, the tech giant's flagship conference, where Google executives unveiled numerous AI features for their proprietary products. How it works: access to compute poses a significant challenge to constructing large language models. The shared GPUs are accessible to multiple users or applications concurrently, eliminating the need for each user or application to have a dedicated GPU. Zero GPU will be available via Hugging Face Spaces, a hosting platform for publishing apps, which has over 300,000 AI demos created so far on CPU or paid GPU, according to the company. Access to the shared GPUs is determined by usage, so if a portion of the GPU capacity is not actively utilized, that capacity becomes available for use by someone else. This makes them cost effective, energy efficient, and ideal for community wide utilization. Zero GPU uses NVIDIA A100 GPU devices to power this operation, which offer about half the computation speed of the popular and more expensive H100s. It's very difficult to get enough GPUs from the main cloud providers, and the way to get them, which is creating a high barrier to entry, is to commit on very big numbers for long periods of time. So yeah, um, even though the A100 is not as powerful as the H100, it still gives you enough room where you can at least get to a proof of concept and then have the opportunity to demonstrate what you might be able to do at scale. So this is good. This is good. Meet Picard, serving up a digital assistant on Raspberry Pi. LLMs running on a dedicated card, the final frontier as Hacker makes it so. Consider you wish for an AI digital assistant that runs locally and online, officially granted. Not by a major industry player, naturally, your personal data is too enticing, but by a guy on GitHub who built one to run on a Raspberry Pi. Data scientist and machine learning engineer Noah Kazmanoff developed the Raspberry Pi camera audio recognition device, or Pi card, to do anything a standard LLM can do in a conversational setting, all without needing to rely on or share data with the outside world. Pi card can have conversations, and if a camera is added to the Raspberry Pi, it can be asked to take photos, describe pictures, and ask questions about the image. I wanted to create a voice assistant that is completely offline and doesn't require any internet connection. I wanted to ensure that the user's privacy is protected and that the user's data is not being sent to any third party servers. And he managed to get it all up and running on a Raspberry Pi 5 connected to a USB microphone, a speaker, and a camera. Kazmanov told the Register that he sees PiCard's purpose as being an online assistant, or an offline assistant, excuse me, that is able to access files on a local machine. So while not requiring Wi-Fi, PiCard can still tell you info like what you wrote in your journal 2 weeks ago. PiCard can talk to users, tell them jokes, answer questions, and so on in the same way ChatGPT can do without being connected to the internet. It's also able to remember things that is discussed during a chat and doesn't require constant use of its wake word, making it more capable than some of the other digital assistants currently on the market. Of course, running locally means it can be a bit slow and lacks a lot of the data the more cloud centric LLMs have access to. The system is designed to be a fun project that can be a somewhat helpful AI assistant, adding that there are a lot of improvements to be made. Awesome. Transparent bamboo, a fireproof and waterproof alternative to glass. Glass might soon have some competition from an unlikely rival, bamboo. Scientists in China have turned regular old bamboo into a transparent material that's also resistant to fire and water and suppresses smoke. Silica glass, made from sand, is still the go to building material when you need something transparent but strong, like windows, but it's not particularly sustainable and can be heavy and brittle. Transparent wood, which is a phrase that I'm saying now in 2024. Transparent wood has actually been muscling in on glass's turf for a few years now. Scientists chemically remove the lignin from the wood fibers and then treat the remaining material with plexiglass or epoxy. Okay, so it's not just transparent bamboo. It's also got plexiglass or epoxy. Well, that's different. And I'm interested because plexiglass and epoxy, are plastics and therefore burn. What up, Ice Picker? Yeah, yeah, no, I did. As soon as I read it, I did the same thing. Um, the end result is a material that's transparent, renewable, and is strong or stronger than glass while being lighter and a better thermal insulator. Yeah, maybe, but like I just like I have big questions regarding the plexiglass epoxy aspect of it all. There are still a few problems with using wood, though. It's way more flammable than glass and already in high demand, with stocks taking too long to replenish. The study turned to bamboo instead. Bamboo, often referred to as the second forest, boasts fast growth and regeneration rate, allowing it to reach maturity and be utilized as a building material within 4 to 7 years of growth. Corresponding blah, blah, blah. With an output 4 times higher than wood per acre, bamboo is recognized for its exceptional efficiency. Bamboo's internal structure and chemical composition is very similar to wood, so the team uses the same method to turn it transparent. After the lignin is removed, the bamboo is infused with an inorganic liquid sodium silicate, which changes the light refraction of the fibers to make it clear. Then it's treated to make the material hydrophobic or water repelling. The end result is a 3 layered structure: silane on top, silicon dioxide in the middle, and sodium silicate on the bottom. The bamboo is transparent with a light transmittance of 71.6%, flame retardant, water repellent, and blocked smoke and carbon monoxide. It's interesting, right? And in their example, they use it as a roof, um, which would allow you to take advantage of available light um, during the daytime. Hi, Stampy. Speaking of light, scientists trap sunlight to reach temperatures of nearly 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The technology has implications for some of the most carbon intensive processes on the planet. Engineers are cooking up a new clean energy solution, charging up crystals with solar energy to temperatures of 1,832 degrees Fahrenheit or 1,000 degrees Celsius, potentially making them a greener substitute for the carbon intensive processes that smelt steel or cook cement. The new technology, described in a proof of concept study published today in Device, makes use of a makes use of a property of quartz that allows it to trap sunlight. Attaching a rod of a synthetic quartz to a silicon disc used to absorb energy, the team tested whether the apparatus could retain heat. They blasted it with the energy equivalent to sunlight from 136 suns. The rod warmed to about 1,112 degrees Fahrenheit, but the absorber plate reached a temperature of 1,922 degrees Fahrenheit. Warning, Adam. People tend to think only about electricity as energy, but in fact, about half of the energy is used in the form of heat. To tackle climate change, we need to decarbonize energy in general. This is weird. There's two things in a row I'm having some difficulty wrapping my mind around. Besides their experimental tests, the researchers modeled the setup's efficacy and found that quartz boosts the receiver's efficiency. In their model, an unshielded receiver was 40% efficient at temperature of 2,192 degrees, but was 70% efficient at the same temperature when the receiver was shielded with 11.8 inches of quartz. The team is now testing other materials, including fluids and gases, that can act as thermal traps. Through their heat retaining abilities, these materials could boost the efficacy of renewable energy solutions that have a long way to go if they're ever going to supplant the long standing primacy of fossil fuels. I wonder how much we can combine stuff like that. You cannot nibble the hands, right? Um, like we've seen how you can use focus solar to heat a column in order to drive turbines to create electricity. I'm wondering, like, what can you do in that regard as far as um using this? Could you like trap additional heat by using a similar process? And then what could you do with that? It's interesting. Why AI won't take over the world anytime soon. In an era where artificial intelligence features prominently in both our daily lives and our collective imagination, it's common to hear concerns about these systems gaining too much power or even becoming autonomous rulers in our future. Yet a closer look at the current state of AI technology reveals that these fears, while popular in science fiction, are far from being realized in the real world. Here's why we're not on the brink of an AI takeover. Understanding narrow AI, the workhorse of today's technology. The majority of AI systems we encounter daily are examples of narrow AI. These systems are masters of specialization, adept at tasks such as recommending your next movie on Netflix, optimizing your route to avoid traffic jams, or even more complex feats like writing essays or generating images. Despite these capabilities, they operate under strict limitations designed to excel in a particular arena, but incapable of stepping beyond those boundaries. This is true even of the generative AI tools that are dazzling us with their ability to create content across multiple modalities. They can draft essays, recognize elements of photographs, and even compose music. However, at the core, these advanced AIs are still just making mathematical predictions based on vast data sets. They do not truly understand the content they generate or the world around them. Narrow AI operates within a predefined framework of variables and outcomes. It cannot think for itself, learn beyond what it is programmed to do, or develop any form of intention. Thus, despite the seeming intelligence from these systems, their capabilities remain tightly confined. Um, I would like to point out that this is that everything that this person is talking about is referenced on uh, a human, right? When they're talking about intelligence, they're talking about human intelligence. Um, so remember that. For those who fear their GPS might one day lead them on a rogue mission to conquer the world, you can rest easy. Your navigation system is not plotting global domination, it's simply calculating the fastest route to your destination, oblivious to the broader implications of its computations. And like is a direct one-to-one comparison with human intelligence, rather than looking at these things in what I feel is a more accurate way to look at them, as in the components of human intelligence. Because again, humans are not also incapable of working outside of their data set. The elusive goal of artificial general intelligence. Concept of artificial general intelligence, an AI capable of understanding, learning, and applying knowledge across a broad spectrum of tasks, just like a human, remains a distant goal. Today's most sophisticated AIs struggle with tasks that a human child performs intuitively, recognizing objects in a messy room or grasping the subtleties of conversation. Again, ignoring the fact that this process is developed over time. Um, again, if you raise children, you understand that they don't recognize objects for a variety of reasons, not just in the brain, but also in the physical capabilities of like their eyes and whatnot. And they have to learn about those things over time. They like if they have a favorite ball, right? Then the favorite ball is something. It doesn't just become their favorite ball. It becomes their favorite ball over time, over interacting with it, and there are peculiarities about their interactions with the ball that make it become their favorite ball. And then once it becomes their favorite ball, then they can begin to recognize it in other balls that are not their favorite ball at a distance. Transitioning from narrow AI to AGI isn't merely a matter of incremental improvements, but requires foundational breakthroughs in how AI learns and interprets the world. Researchers are still deciphering the basic principles of cognition and machine learning, and the challenge of developing a machine that genuinely understands context or displays common sense is still a significant scientific hurdle. Another factor is that current AI systems have an insatiable appetite for data. So do humans, ah, requiring vast amounts to learn and function effectively, like humans. This dependency on large data sets is one of the primary bottlenecks in AI development. Unlike humans, who can learn from a few examples or even from a single experience, no, no. This this takes the idea. I mean, first of all, I would put this up against the idea of things like how the AIs that are part of Google's teleoperation robot training system that can learn from no more than 50 examples of a process, how to do that process. That's an equivalent to what they're talking about here. But you don't learn from a single experience. You can't. That's not how that works, right? This is a it's a single experience that's built on a framework that you've been working on for your entire life. It's not how learning works. If I if I were to demonstrate, and you know this, right? If you've ever tried to learn something that's completely alien to you, right? Like you sit down, today um I'm going to learn Photoshop, right? And you sit down and you start to learn Photoshop because you've never worked with anything like that before. It's much more difficult for you to learn Photoshop, right? However, if you have a process of doing the things that are components of Photoshop, morning Johnny Prophet, then you will learn Photoshop much easier. Like this shit is all a matter of weird definitions and not defining your terms, and it's irritating as shit. Unlike humans who can learn from a few examples or even from a single experience, AI systems need thousands or even millions of data points to master even simple tasks. So do you, homie. You're not cognitively aware of your thousands and millions of data points. This difference highlights a fundamental gap in how humans and machines process information. The data needs of AI are not just extensive but also specific. And in many domains, such high quality, large scale data sets simply do not exist. For instance, in specialized medical fields or in areas involving rare events, the requisite data to train AI effectively can be scarce or non existent, limiting the applicability of AI in these fields. Yes, with a whole bunch of caveats, is that there are ways that we could fix that if there was, let's say, sufficient incentive to do so. That means the notion of AI systems might spontaneously evolve to outsmart humans is therefore more than just unlikely. Yes, if you base all your conclusions on everything that has happened up until this point in history, then I guess I could agree with you. Um, if I were incapable of understanding the nature of exponential growth and the way that these models are capable of evolving. Many crime bunnies on the term evolving. Again, because the lexicon that we use to talk about these things are centered on um, anthropomorphic concepts rather than being centered on some objective quality. Um, because we can't define a lot of these things, and that's the problem that we run into. Yada, yada, yada. While AI continues to evolve and integrate deeper into our lives and industries, the infrastructure around its development is simultaneously maturing. This dual progression ensures that AI capabilities grow, or that as capability. Okay, you fucked up your proofreading again. This dual progression ensures that as AI capabilities grow, comma, rest of the thought, as AI technology progresses, so does the imperative for dynamic regulatory frameworks. The tech community is increasingly proficient at implementing safety and ethical guidelines for a certain value of those things, okay? However, these measures must evolve in lockstep with AI's rapid developments to ensure robust, safe, and controlled operations. By proactively adapting regulations, we can effectively anticipate and mitigate potential risks and unintended consequences, securing AI's role as a powerful tool for positive advancement rather than a threat. This continued focus on safe and ethical AI development is crucial for harnessing its potential while avoiding the pitfalls depicted in dystopian narratives. AI is here to assist and augment human capabilities, not to replace them. So, for now, the world remains very much in human hands. Like, this was the point that they were trying to get across, and the idea behind this all was a, I guess, a calming, right? Like, don't freak out. Bernard Marr is a world renowned futurist, board advisor, and author of Generative AI in Practice 100 plus ways, amazing ways generative artificial intelligence is changing business and society. He's written over 20 best selling and award winning books and advises and coaches many of the something. So that's who Bernard is. What do we got? We gotta keep it tight today. By the way, we have the regular Friday show at 5 p.m. Eastern, and then we have movie night in the Discord. This week it'll be Future World, and um, Monday. Monday, the morning show will be happening at 9 a.m. However, the evening show is going to be moved to Tuesday because the wife is coming back into town and or returning from her convention, and therefore I need, I want to spend time with my wife because I like my wife. She's pretty damn cool. So, machine learning model uncovers new drug design opportunities. Pathogens are nothing if not adaptable, and their ability to protect themselves against antibiotics increasingly poses a public health concern. A research team led by Los Alamos National Laboratories used machine learning, an application of artificial intelligence, to identify molecular properties that could guide the discovery of new types of antibiotics, especially among pathogens deemed critical by the World Health Organizations due to their high bacterial resistance. As a matter of like culture, um, there are things that we explain and things that we don't. And I'm looking forward to the point where we don't do some of this anymore, right? So it says a research team has used machine learning and then explains what machine learning is. Led to the discovery of new types of antibiotics, but doesn't explain what antibiotics are, right? At some point in time, culturally, we will move past explaining machine learning because everyone will understand what machine learning is in the same way that we understand what antibiotics are. So stick a pin in that. Pay attention. Some pathogens have properties that make them very effective at resisting antibiotics. The discovery of specific compounds able to permeate and inhibit some pathogens is a needle in the haystack challenge due to the vast heterogeneity and depth of the chemical space and the complexity of the molecular interactions across bacterial membranes. The approach we employed is capable of probing the bacterium specific molecular level profiles necessary that can be built on for successful drug development. Gram-negative bacteria have an outer membrane less permeable to being treated by compounds such as those that make up antibiotics, and the bacteria can also expel compounds that happen to get inside, curtailing the effectiveness of an antibiotic. Morning Cosmic. Data-driven models have potential to identify molecular properties that could overcome such bacterial defenses, but accurate calculations to make those determinations are challenging and use extensive computing resources. Chemically diverse compounds may contain many relevant properties. The machine learning driven study reduced the relevant spectrum of those properties and established empirical rules that would predict the compound's ability to permeate the bacteria's outer membrane. Also amazing. We live in a world of wonders. Oh, we did this one. Did this one yesterday. Volcanic ash, the cheapest battery for solar energy storage. What? It's rarely great news when an area gets blanketed in volcanic ash, but University of Barcelona researchers have discovered it has a rare combination of useful properties, which make it remarkably useful as an energy storage medium. We've written a number of times about super cheap thermal energy storage and a number of other times about highly efficient heat batteries operating at super high temperatures. The cheapest of these brick toasters use the most abundant of materials, and the most efficient can handle extraordinarily high temperatures using materials like liquid tin and carbon materials. The volcanic ash, as it turns out, might offer a kind of Goldilocks proposition in the middle for certain applications. And again, going back to what we looked at earlier, about the scientists trapping sunlight to reach temperatures of 2,000 degrees, can we use something like this in combination with something like this that allows us, so there's a concentrating solar system, right? These are, no, you can't use a keyboard. Um, these are mirrors that reflect the sun at the tower, right? I assume this contraption up here, and then by doing that, that allows them to use that heat, to generate. Um, Dude, you're standing out my wires. To use that heat to drive turbines, right? So in this case, at this point, all those focused beams generate tremendous heat, often well over 1,000 degrees Celsius, 1,832 degrees Fahrenheit. And to date, solar receivers, devices that concentrate heat from mirrors reflecting sunlight, this is the solar thing, have not been able to efficiently handle solar energy at temperatures above 1,832 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, that's fun. I love it when numbers match. So the heat can be used directly to produce electricity, often using a steam turbine, or it can be stored for later use by heating up some kind of thermal battery. Many of these type of installations use molten salts for this purpose, since their thermal properties offer efficient heat storage and recovery at high temperatures. Um, Molten salts do have significant downsides, though. They can be incredibly corrosive, eating away equipment and uh, reducing the service life of an installation. They can also be expensive to produce and sometimes solidify at lower temperatures, becoming a pain to work with. Enter volcanic ash. When a single volcano erupted on the island of La Palma in the Canary Islands back in 2021, the surrounding area was strewn with a monstrous 200 million cubic meters. That's 7.1 or 7 billion cubic feet or 80,000 Olympic swimming pools in standard journalistic units. I love it. Of igneous rock and ash waste. So it's not in short supply. Indeed, a lot of volcanic ash goes into civil engineering projects as a low cost bulk. But the Barcelona researchers wanted to test its potential as a heat storage medium, so they pressed some into pellets and repeatedly heated and cooled these between 250 and 750 degrees Celsius over 1,000 cycles. They found that ash exhibited excellent thermal conductivity and heat capacity, as well as remaining physically and chemically stable, exhibiting just 0.54% mass gain from oxidization through the 1,000 cycles. What's more, they found it worked well in conjunction with molten salts. If ash is mixed in with molten salts, you can take the edge off the salt's corrosive effects while also storing enough heat to mitigate their tendency to solidify, all at low cost. Kept separate in tanks that use molten salts for heat transfer, the ash can do the latter part nearly as well. It's also appropriate for use as a direct open receiver, an arrangement in which the concentrated solar beams would be directly aimed at a structure built from the ash, allowing super high temperature operation and high efficiency heat to electricity conversion. Amazing. All right. Um, do one more and then I gotta go. AI is listening. Omnipresent robo moderators are the latest online anti toxicity strategy. Toxicity is one of a few words that has come to define today's internet culture, and for online game makers, it's arguably an even bigger issue than curbing cheating. Platoons of trust and safety officers have been raised, and over 200 gaming companies. Uh, yeah, it'll be up right after I hit end stream. Including Blizzard, Riot, Epic Games, Discord, and Twitch, have joined the Fair Play Alliance, where they share notes on their struggles to get players to be nice to each other. Yet, for all their efforts, a 2023 report commissioned by Unity concluded that toxic behavior is on the rise in online games. Now, some companies are turning to the buzziest new tech around for a solution: machine learning and generative AI. Um, and this article was featured in another streamer's chat or another streamer's stream yesterday, and in the course of watching the chat talk about this, I noticed that from some people there's a tendency to just that that's just the way the internet is, right? That a certain level of toxicity, whether it's gentle ribbing or what have you, that's just how it's just how video game lobbies are. I find this fascinating, right? I find this like the idea that you cannot change a system and just to accept that. Like, even though I talk about AI, and we're done, I'm going to do a little commentary and then we'll rate out. Even though I talk about AI in the sense of, um, that I don't expect things to change too much in the current meta um, some prior to like AGI and mass automation and things like that. It's still capable of change. My expectation is that it can change, and not only can it change, but that I have never told people that they should not organize and unionize and do whatever they are capable of in order um, to work on changing the system. So the idea that any system should just be accepted as like this is just how it is wild to me, right? That the only reason that the internet, the game lobbies, your Call of Duty lobbies, all that kind of stuff are the way that they are is because we collectively allowed them to become that way, right? And because the entire thing is built on human endeavor, the entire thing is capable of being changed. You know what I mean? There's no to throw your hands up. Oh, well, that's just how it is. That is like, how can you be whatever? Yeah, like I understand the if it's not broken, don't fix it is I think more accurately stated. If there are not incentives to change, then no change will be forthcoming. Anywho, I'll be back 5 p.m. Eastern. Do a bunch of video. I'm sure there's going to be some good stuff coming out. I still, of course, have a collection of stuff to watch. If you want to look into these articles more in depth, they will be available in the Discord later today. And in the meantime, drink your water, eat some food, take your meds if you forgot, and always remember that Shoggy loves you, and so do I. Go have fun at Kel Thickness.